Hello everybody, ChaosKatGaming here, and welcome to my Deep Zone tips and tricks for Pacific Drive. First off, starting out very simply, is to just keep the limb shield on. Its only cost is when you turn it on, and when you are getting hit by something. Otherwise, it just doesn't have any cost, so just turn it on as soon as you get into the zone, and you'll be protected from pretty much all deep zone anomalies. I can only think of one anomaly that isn't protected against by the limb shield. Oh, it does. It's okay. So the limb shield provides partial defense against explosions. So this is probably one of what I would consider as one of the most important tips that I have for this, and that's how to best get the Olympian fragments with this. So while it says that it wants you to use the magnetic hammer, while technically you can use the impact hammer to harvest it, you will end up using pretty much the entire durability of the impact hammer to harvest one of these. But more importantly, with using the magnetic hammer, you'll actually collect several of them instead of just one, whereas the impact hammer, you would only collect one of them. However, one thing that is very important to note is that you don't want to use the magnetic hammer when it's on that last hit, because when you break it, you have a high likelihood of not getting a resource at all out of it when your tool breaks, because what gets dropped and how much of it is dependent on the item in hand when the item breaks. So when the resource breaks, so if you don't have an item, you have a high likelihood of not getting anything. I definitely have a video of the boom bunnies are a unique creature compared to the other bunnies, whereas the other bunnies will stick onto something upon a leap, whether successful or not. The boom bunnies will instead simply detonate, making it significantly harder to try to disable or scrap them, as well as more dangerous to avoid them, because even if they miss your car, they still run the risk of exploding anyways. So it's better to have your limb shield active and have them hit the shield and bounce off and fail to stick, than to try to dodge them. However, after they have hit your limb shield, they will then, instead of aiming for you, will instead just do a bounce and explode where they're at. Oh, bunnies! Let me kick you. Woo! Okay, so I think I might have been right. I think that if you can manage to kick the boom bunnies, you can actually disable them. However, if they get exploded, they can still be flung quite a bit away from where they were. But now I can actually see if grinding a boom bunny gets you explosives, like I think they do. No. Okay, so annoyingly, it seems like similar to the mid-zone, where you have a chance of getting a corrupted anchor node while in the mid-zone. In the deep zone, you have the reverse chance of sometimes you'll have an unstable anchor instead of a corrupted, which really sucks. And with the magnetic hammer is that not only is it more durable and has more and goes faster, it actually gives more resources from the same type of nodes. So here with the So here I only got one plasma out of that. However, if I swap over to the magnetic hammer, you will see that I get significantly more than just one, and that applies to anything that needs the hammer to loot. So the plasma generators, the thermosap collectors, and the Olympium fragments, all of them you get more resources out of it from using the magnetic over just the regular impact. If you happen to be on full energy, you don't want to put your anchor into the anchor energizer, because it'll still just immediately convert the anchor into energy, even if you don't actually have the storage space for it. Essentially just wasting the anchor. With the power tires, I generally go around with just one of them. However, you can put 4 of them, and that makes it extremely easy to drive up basically any incline except for the sheer rock surfaces. However, I would highly recommend against it, because as you can see, my energy had been full. My energy is now at 60, so while the 4 tires is extremely helpful, it does just drain your power, because with having all 4 tires, and it's using up 3.6 kilowatts of energy. So I'd advise you generally just use one of the power grip tires and just have the rest of them be all terrain. Cool. So thank you to, I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna butcher your name, Raphael Gandine, for telling me this tip of telling me that the swamp reefs, or whatever they're called, I've forgotten their name. They actually react to the light of the thermal vac, so you can use a regular vacuum if you're willing to use your if you're willing to have your car running and have the headlight on, because they will stay out if the car headlight is out on them, allowing you to be able to fully loot them with just the regular vacuum. And on any of my videos that I'm actually doing tips on, or just regular videos where I'm playing the game, please feel free to give me tips and let me know about stuff that I missed. Just please try to avoid spoilers beyond anything I already know. So this one is somewhere between a tip and a bug. The hardest material to find in the deep zone are actually these right here, because due to the bug with the resource radar, the explosive crates don't actually show up on the resource radar, and instead what shows up on the resource radar is the explosive crates that are actually the... Thank you. What does actually show up on the ping is actually I believe they are called ticking tumblers, when they are in a sort of dormant state, so they look like the explosive crates, but instead of having the search icon, they will instead have a pickup icon, which will immediately start them ticking, which you then have to quickly throw away or they'll explode in your hands. So I'm gonna make sure to fully loot the red balloons, because that's where you get the tier 3. Because that's where you primarily get the tier 3 garbage pearls from, I think. As far as I can tell, you don't get anything for destroying the tour buses, nor is there an easy way to destroy them, because unlike the regular tourists, you can't just knock them over. I think probably the easiest way to get rid of the tour bus, if you really want to, is to destroy a tourist that happens to be next to it. But even still, I don't really know why you'd want to, beyond... I guess they do probably spawn the tourists around them, so maybe if you want to get rid of the tourists. Somewhere I had read that you get stuff for Olympian fragments. Oh my god. Okay, so for Olympian fragments, you can get headlights. That is a massive waste of Olympian fragments, but I just think swamp coral, the glass, red balloons, to scrap metal, chemicals, to nothing, explosives, also to nothing, marsh eggs, to nothing, thermosap, ooh, thermosap to gas cylinders. Anything that the pacemaker outputs, it will not accept as an input to get you something else. So if you care about trying to find all of the recipes for that, keep that in mind. So this next tip is slightly spoiler, so I suppose, fuck it. I don't think it is really spoiler because it's not really doing much to the game. But I assume that this is probably consistent because it seemed too good just to be random chance. But my current engine is actually an engine that I was gifted by the game during the very last mission. There is a chain reaction that you can set off somewhere in that last mission. That will give you a limb-chipped engine, which is very expensive to build. So if you haven't already built it and you haven't finished the game yet, don't stress out about building this because the game will just give you one instead. Okay, so I think that now that I've beaten the game, that the friendly dumpster no longer gives me any car parts. Because generally with my car in that sort of shape without any panels attached, it would give me actual car panels and such. But it doesn't seem to be doing that anymore. So I mean so if you intend to keep playing after you have finished the main mission, that is definitely something to keep in mind if you happen to have been relying on the pieces that the friendly dumpster gave you. If you all enjoyed, hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe.